Hello, Instagram. How are you? If you're finding me on YouTube, thank you so much. I'm happy we found each other. This episode is called Ghosted or Just a Fade Out. So, a lot of people have been talking to me and sending me notes about ghosting, the topic of ghosting. And so, I thought it would be helpful to have a discussion about it and determine, or better said, describe the difference between ghosting and a fade out because there's confusion. There are a lot of people out there who are super sensitive and they think that when they go on a few dates with somebody and then that person doesn't call them or return their texts, that is ghosting. That is not ghosting. That is just simply a fade out. That's like you're dating and you're trying different people and they are too, and maybe you had a good time and you're thinking, oh, it'd be so cool to like hang out with this person again. And then you reach out to them and it's either via text or maybe a phone call and they don't respond. And then you do it again and they don't respond again. That is a fade out. Is it right to do? No. In my opinion, I think people should develop their emotional intelligence to a level and also their character, their level of integrity, so that if somebody texts you or them and asks them out again, that they're able to have a prepared little statement that they send on text that goes a little something like this. Hey, great to hear from you. Hope you've been well. I've given it some thought and feel that the connection between us, for me, is more about friendship than romance. And I'm happy that we got to know each other. That's all. And if they persist and ask, oh, what happened? What about me didn't you like? Then you're free to offer whatever. If you want to be honest, if you're, maybe in certain cases, I've heard it where an ex resurfaced and they wanted to give it another chance with an ex, or simply wasn't a fit. There were things about what they wanted out of life that just wasn't on the same page. So it's really important, though, to know the difference because there are a lot of people out there walking around saying that they got ghosted when in actuality the person just wasn't into you. So ghosting is a much more serious, traumatic at times thing. So for the people who have experienced true ghosting, that's more like, I'll give you an example of a client that actually reached out to me because she was legitimately ghosted. She was with a guy 6 months. They were in a relationship as a couple. And granted, nobody moved in with anybody yet. It was, still 6 months. But at around month 3, she mentioned that her sister was getting married. And she was in the wedding. And it's a big family thing. And if they're still together and things are going well, she would like to take him to this big family event. He was all for it, amazing, great, talking about it, even bought a suit for it, like the whole scene. So here she's thinking everything's wonderful, all is well, we're moving along on a good pace. And the day comes of the wedding, the day of the wedding. She goes to the hotel to get ready with her sister and all this family stuff's going on, and he was going to meet her at the hotel, everybody go together to the ceremony. And he does not show up. Nor does he call her, tell her anything, nothing. So she thinks something happened to him. She's thinking like, oh my God, what if he like was on his way here, got into this massive car accident, and something happened. So the whole day she's freaking out thinking like, oh my God, and I can't leave because I'm in this wedding. And sister's walking down the aisle, I have to do this whole wedding thing. So in between ceremony and reception, she had to go do pictures. While she's doing pictures, she's texting this guy, blowing up his phone, being like, where are you? Like, I hope you're okay. Like, I'm trying to see if maybe your friends saw you or your parents. Like, She was so genuinely concerned. And this guy completely ghosted her. No phone call, no nothing, nothing. So it wasn't until later that afternoon she got in touch with, I think, his sister, who lives in another state. And she said, I'll check for you, was what she wrote back. She said, hi, I'll check for you. And she's like, he's fine, is all he said. Like, his sister was just like in on it too. It was really screwed up. So, point is, she never really had closure, and it was very much a struggle for her. She didn't know what to make of it. And, it's a hard thing when you're really ghosted and you don't have that closure and that clarity about what happened. We have a comment coming through from You Are Limitless. And it says, Lisa, how about the fella that randomly texts with the how have you been? Never makes a plan, conversation never goes anywhere. I don't want to be rude, but it's a waste of my time, and I often just don't reply. Yeah, so totally cool if you don't reply. You don't have to reply to everybody that sends you a text message. Those types of texts are empty texts. So typically those types of people are just doing the numbers game. They have no set purpose about how they're dating. They have no intention for anything romantic. They're just kind of playing the numbers game. They're going through their phone. They're seeing like, oh, let's see who I haven't, tried yet, or who I might be able to rekindle something with or pick something up with. But they're non-committal, right? There's no plan. There's no nothing. So let's shift topics. I love that topic. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how somebody comes at you when they are interested and they do want to make a plan with you, and they are serious. So let's take that example of, the random message that comes through, the hey, how have you been message, right? The how have you been message. Okay. So there is a way to handle that, where you can actually turn it into a date. And you could come at it from a place of curiosity, such as, hey, I've been great. How have you been? And then it's a little bit of banter, but when it starts getting into too much chit chat, you stop it and you say, hey, listen, I really have to go focus on some stuff here. It was great hearing from you again. Allude to, if you ever want to get together, hit me up with a plan and let's make that happen. Right? Like saying, I receive you. I'm open to communicating with you, but you got to come at me with a plan. Otherwise, I'm not going to take you seriously. And you're just going to be one of the many in my phone who check in to say, hey. And I'm always welcoming of a, hey, how are you message, right? Why not? I find that a lot of people take out their frustrations because they don't have a solid dating strategy and they're not in their feminine energy, that they take offense to these just check it in, hey, how are you messages, and they don't know how to handle them right. They let their negativity and their frustration bleed out into that exchange, when really it could be used to put yourself into a higher vibration and become very attractive to that guy, or girl. So, for example, if somebody said to me, let's say I was single, right, and somebody blows up my phone that I haven't, dealt with in a while, and they're like, hey, Lise, how are you? I'd be like, great, how are you? And they would say, good, I've been thinking about you lately, and we had a fun couple of dates, and I wonder why it never went anywhere. And I would say, oh, that's so nice, always nice to be thought of. Yeah, not sure, but I remember having fun with you. So notice what I'm doing here. I'm being very feminine. I'm not insulting him. I'm not making him wrong for going on with his life. I have a life too, right? It's not devaluing myself by saying, well, that's because you stopped calling me. That's because you couldn't keep it going. I would never, ever do that. I wouldn't advise that, what you do is you make it like, yeah, I wonder the same thing. Like, I remember having a lot of fun with you. I remember you making me laugh and the food being really good at the restaurant we went to. You want to put them in a state of positivity. This is if it's somebody that you were like, whoa, I really like that person. And like they kind of faded away to nothing, but now they're back. So if that's the case and you want to rekindle something, then, you got to learn how to play that right. And a lot of people don't know how to do it. Let's see. We have other people commenting here. A lot of people waving at me. Hello. Hi from Florida. I don't know where you're coming from, but feel free to comment below. Where in the world are you from? And if you're catching me on YouTube and you're liking this topic, feel free to click the link below to get access to your free Love Block quiz. This quiz that I created is probably the most thorough quiz on the internet today, and it's kind of under the radar. There are no ads for it. So it is a quiz that is going to tell you definitively what is blocking you from the love that you truly want. If there are patterns showing up in your life, you're going to learn what they are. You're going to see why they happen. This quiz is awesome. You get a full-blown PDF document after you just answer 10 questions. Imagine that you answer 10 questions and you will get an exact readout of what your love block is. Now, why is this important? Well, once you know which love block you have, you can do something about it. You can remove the love block. This way, you can allow the love that you truly want to have in your life to flow on in. So I created this quiz and assessment. It is entirely for free. And if you're catching me on YouTube, you can click the link below to get access to that quiz. If you're finding me on Instagram, you can click the link in my bio. So let's see, what else about ghosting? Because I know it's like a serious thing that people freak out about. A lot of times people who get ghosted, they have such trust issues that they won't even date again. And they're so on guard because imagine how traumatic that is to have belief that a relationship that you're in for whether it's a few months is going really well. And you're sitting here thinking, wow, like this could be it. Like, I really like this person and we've hung out a bunch of times and everything's going amazing and we communicate and all is well. And then all of a sudden they go on a business trip or the weekend, you have different plans for the weekend or something happens where there's a break in the communication and then they stop communicating with you altogether. And you'd never really get the closure as to why. Even if, let's say in that scenario, because I've had clients that this happened to, where they were in a relationship about 4 months and the guy was really into this girl and thought that, she definitely had like wife material written all over her. And he was taking her to dinners and investing time and money in her. And like after 4 months, bought her a nice fragrance that she said she liked and just like doing all the right things, this guy. And then what happens is she had plans with girlfriends and they ended up spending a weekend apart. And it was during that weekend she went out with her girlfriends and she runs into her ex. And her ex was like, I always think about you. Maybe we made a mistake. We should try again. And it confused her. And she didn't feel like she wanted to let the new guy go, but she also wanted to explore what the ex had to say. So that right there tells you that not over the ex. If you're even entertaining what the ex has to say, and even getting together and trying again, probably a good idea to sit the new guy down or at least have a conversation with him and say, listen, something happened this weekend and it came out of left field. I was out with my friends and we went to this restaurant and I ran into my ex there. And apparently he has all these feelings for me. And there was a lot of stuff there that we just kind of have some unfinished business. And it's not fair to you to continue with you with all of this confusion. So I would like to put this on pause and maybe see what happens. And then you give that person the right and the respect to either accept it or decline it. And you have to be, mature about it and with character about it. I mean, these are adult conversations and adult decisions. You can't be acting like children emotionally and entering relationships expecting people to treat you as an adult when you can't even be honest and forthcoming with what you truly feel for them. So the whole ghosting thing, I think it's just rooted in immaturity, a lack of personal responsibility. I feel like the people who ghost typically are people who are disconnected from themselves. They just really lack emotional intelligence. They're not sure of themselves. They might be a little insecure. They don't like to deal with confrontation. They are not eloquent with their words. They don't know how to communicate. This is a person that you don't want to be with. If they have it in them to ghost, then let them stay gone. Move on to better things. But I can absolutely have empathy and compassion for the people who are very stunned when they are ghosted. It's a very jarring experience. You're sitting here going along your life thinking everything is cool, and it is not. And it ends up being a lie. And you're like, well, I thought everything was going good. How can I trust the next time? If everything's going good, how do I know I'm not going to be ghosted again? And that's a common question that people once ghosted will have. And so really what it turns into is this beautiful reconnection between you and a reminder that your worthiness and your value does not come from other people. It comes from your creator. And once you understand that, then you can better accept if people are going to stay or go. You're not so attached to them staying. And you are okay and grounded in yourself and in your faith so that if they are to go, your world as you know it does not crumble. So I hope this helps you. If you are experiencing something where you've struggled with trust because you got ghosted, consider dropping me a DM. Let's talk about it. I have a nice, like I said, free assessment that you can do either through a quiz or one that we can do one-on-one that will really tell you what is going on, why you're blocked with the love that you want, and to remove that love block so you can have the love that you want and deserve. I'm Lisa, the Love Coach. You can find me at LoveQuestCoaching.com. You can click the link in my bio, or if you're catching the YouTube video of this, you can click the link down below to get your love block quiz today. Much love to you. Bye.